do we have everybody back?
Chris is struggling.
Oh.
I'm not sure what's going on. I look like I still have internet. I just got kicked off tabletop, maybe.
No, we're all still here.
That happens to me
Yeah.
every time I lose my connection. Is I'll drop off tabletop before Discord.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on my phone right now.
I mean, if nothing else, you can just.
Well, it's fine as long as McDohl doesn't summon any more nightmarish monster laser-eyed straw hat man things. We'll be fine.
I mean, I make no promises, but
We're literally about to walk into a room with 2 banshees.
This is true.
Is that
What
the
the-
next destination?
I am
I
going
think
to...
that was our plan. Yeah.
How are you doing? Like, should I burn some magical healing if your hit points are getting low?
I could definitely use it.
Yeah, I've got 6 hit points.
Yeah, give me a second here. Let me look at what I've got.
Also, I have to
Oh.
because I have hit point adjustments because I don't know how this werewolf transformation increases my constitution, and I already had modified hit points from when from Destil's other spell,
Oh, goddamn it.
so I'm not sure how this all interacts.
So,
I got signed out of Steam because I signed up my Steam Deck, apparently. I need to find my password and I'll be back.
Good luck.
so let's do some bookkeeping then.
Yep. I'm going to fire off Staff of Healing Mass Cure Wounds for 3d8 plus 5 for anyone who needs it to start.
Okay.
Do
we roll that ourselves or what?
I'm rolling it right now. Oh, yeah, because it's it doesn't matter. Roll it yourselves, that's easier.
28.
13 for me. All right. So that puts me up to 19 hit points. And I've got
7.
so just a quick since you're my long rest buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 level 1 spell slots, 1 level 3 spell slot, 1 level 4 spell slot.
Okay.
So that is
How much from that mass cure wounds?
3d8 plus 5.
plus 5. Okay.
And did you already roll that, or?
Everyone should roll it for themselves.
Okay.
That way, Destil cannot take the blame if you roll low.
Which I did. Okay. Which I did. I only got 12 out of that, but that definitely puts me in a better state now.
Okay.
And then I can do
Anything else?
how is everybody after that? Like, where else should I spend some healing? Basically.
I've got 20. I've got 24 hit points.
I'm down on 48.
I think you guys are more than I am.
Orson's got 56.
Okay, so go
Oh,
ahead.
I guess I could add. Yeah, hold on. Let me add that for Orson as well, because that mass cure wounds hits how many people?
Like 6 or something.
Okay, yeah. So that's 15 more for him. So that's 60, 71. So Orson's almost at full. So Orson's good.
Okay.
And then-
I don't have a lot of spot healing on top of that, but I can do a pair. I can do 2 more cure wounds. So
How
one
many
each for
how many
8 plus
slots?
5 each for Edmont and Eugenia.
D8 plus 5. Okay.
Yep.
That's another 8 for me.
7, 30, 24. So that.
And the rest of my slots are all like healing word.
Fair.
Do you have? What do you have? How many slots do you actually have left?
2, 3, 5, 6, 7, about 8.
Okay, I've got about half of what you've got, so yeah, that's about on par. We're on track.
Do you each want another heal? Do you each want another cure wounds? I can do that without really taxing myself.
I think what Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Go ahead and take another D8 plus 5 each. That's almost all of my low-level slots, but I've got.
Let me burn some key real quick because I've got some key that I can expend as well.
And then I'm going to use a level 1 spell slot to summon my turret.
And then it's group hug time.
And it's group hug time.
Okay, 4
Oh
key
my God.
points for 21 points of healing. Okay, yeah, no, Edmont's looking pretty good after all that.
Oh, and I can pop a. I can use a bonus action to go back a spell slot too.
I have 5 key points remaining.
I've also been logged out on Steam on my laptop, and I just haven't fixed the problem yet.
Yeah, I tried to update my Steam Deck, and I guess that's what did it.
Oh no.
And we're doing a turret pump.
Yeah, like literally 12 seconds. You got 12 temp hit points for everybody.
Is the turret
Okay.
even out?
It is
You
now.
just used a thing to resummon it.
I just used a level 1 spell slot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so I think we're ready to go.
Yeah. All right.
I've got 2 of my big boys. I got 2 of my big boy slots left, and that's it. And plus 2 level 1 spell slots. So
I've got 5 key points remaining.
All right, so we're heading down to the silent room.
Yeah. We
Wait,
had
was there?
music
I want
on-
to search around the like. Did that do anything? Shouldn't we be getting a key or something for that? Do you feel? Oh, you already had a key.
I already had a key.
Okay.
What remains of the man?
His clothes, his boots, and he's packed with straw inside, like a scarecrow would be.
You know, I'll start sifting through all that.
It's a lot of straw. There's a sickle, but I don't know if you want a sickle.
Toss that to the side.
what about the
Lean it up
skull?
against the wall.
The skull
It
vaporized.
powderized, didn't it?
Yeah. The light in its cycloptic eye flickered out, and then it powderized.
Okay.
As you do.
Yeah, Edmont will give the room another once over before we leave.
Edmont does one more lap around his favorite room in the dungeon.
Yeah,
All the artwork has been repurposed.
and defaced.
Do we need
And
to
then one-
sleep while we're in here?
Eventually, I think.
Do we? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Eventually, when I have an hour in this form, and when it drops, I have a chance of taking another level of exhaustion. Just so you guys know.
I think that is the. I think we can go. We should go until the end of.
What's the question? What are we trying to figure out?
Like, do we physically need to rest?
At some
Or does the
point,
maze
yes.
Do something weird like that. Okay. What about food?
At some point, yes. But
Likewise,
you guys
yes.
have only been adventuring in here for a couple of hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I wouldn't start imposing Constitution checks for exhaustion until probably 24 hours of
Okay.
constant. Like you have to, or like hard physical labor, like Edmont was doing earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I mentioned at the beginning of the stream that I've gone 48 hours without food before, and then only then started to starve. So you stand before the double doors leading into the silent lobby room.
All right. So, can you hear music? Can you hear silence? Is the note.
We had music on in here when we started. Well, the first time we came through here. So we silence it and then go through in here.
So turn the music off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you step through the door, you are effectively deafened. You can hear nothing.
Okay. Genie is going to. So I'm not stepping between the 2 women.
The 2 women are chained to the wall on either side. Their features, their hair, and their robes are this ghostly white, and they are straining upon their chains, and they're screaming at each other soundlessly. So much so that the desk set in the center of the room is vibrating somewhat.
Yeah.
Do we just want to try and kill them while they're chained up? Or do we want to try and free them?
Yeah, you do have telepathy, so we can communicate that way.
So they're chained, right?
Yes, they are straining at their chain. They're chained at their wrists and at their legs.
Yeah, and Victor tried to do telepathy on him earlier, and he took damage from it. So
Yes, he did.
Do they direct their ire toward us when we approach the room, or
If it is in fact ire, it looks as though it's directed towards the other woman on the opposite wall.
the way I see it, we can either kill them where they hang or free them and see what happens.
So which is it to be?
what's on the desk right now?
Nothing is sitting upon the desk.
Is the desk is the desk bolted to the floor, or is it just sitting there?
It's just standing upon the floor, and it's vibrating in such that you can actually see it moving slightly. So it could be moved. Is Edmont
Edmont.
crossing the room in between the two chained women?
Yep,
Okay. Edmont.
sir.
I need a DC 15 Constitution saving throw, please.
Sure thing.
I'm sorry, did I say... It's 15, not 16.
Yeah, you did say 15.
Okay, good. I said a number and then immediately forgot what number I said.
And I failed.
Failed.
Yep.
How are you passing the desk? You're like climbing over it, walking around
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, climbing over it.
Edmont, you fall to 0 hit points
Ooh.
and collapse on top of this desk.
Do I revert out of werewolf form?
I don't think so. Because you're not thinking of using it like a wild shape, right? Because you didn't gain a second hit point pool on top of your first. Did
No,
you?
I did not.
Okay, then no, you're just at 0 hit points in werewolf form, laying on top of the desk.
Well, that sucks.
Can we reach him and pull him back without getting in between the things?
I'll give you advantage on the Constitution save if you're just looking to pull him back and you're not actually climbing out on the desk yourself.
Jeannie motions at Ekon to. She makes a yanking motion.
I think I can only push things when they're that large.
Well, then push him.
I'm still medium size.
I mean, you think that being on the desk is the problem? I need to get him back here so I can heal him.
Right.
I can't.
So, but I'm just like Jeannie. Like, she's relaying this through the Victor mind link.
Yeah.
Like, just push him off the table and then push him again. Push him like we don't have to go get him.
You want to push him on the other side of the chained woman?
No, I mean pull him towards us. But like
I can't pull. I can't pull something that large.
go around the backside and push him.
And then he's got to go
this
between
way.
the two chained women.
You would have to succeed that Constitution saving throw.
Why would he have to go around there to use the spectral hand?
The hand doesn't pull. But I can push things that are large. I can use the hand on small things.
Okay.
Well, Edmont is
Push-
medium.
Yeah.
So Ekon would have to physically be on the other side in order to push him, is what he's saying.
What's Orson's con save bonus?
Okay. All right. 3rd level spell slot. Vortex warp boot.
Does that have verbal components?
Dang it. You're right. Hold on.
I'm sorry. I fucked up. Bad.
No, you did exactly what I wanted you to do.
Do we still have some rope?
We do have rope. I don't know if we can get.
Yeah,
we-
it
Can you,
is
lasso, can you hook the rope around him and pull him back?
You lasso his leg and drag him off the table.
Yeah, I mean, can we try?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's
All right, what do I need to lasso him?
just a hit roll. A ranged attack roll.
Okay. Wow. Is it?
I don't know if a 12 is going to work or not.
Yeah, 12 is fine.
18 or AC is 18.
You're not trying to hit his armor class. You're just trying to loop it around his ankle. Yeah, you give him a tug, and he comes rolling off your side of the desk, flops onto the ground in front of you.
All right. Take.
Verbal
So-
components.
Oh, you're right. Hold on.
Do we need to drag him out of the room?
Yeah, I got him. Orson, help me get him out of the room.
Yeah, you can drag him out of the room and then cast spells on him outside.
I will cast heal from my rod. You get 70 hit points back.
Genie, do we just want to, like, stop one of them from screaming?
I mean, Genie's talking to himself. Well, the desk is here for a reason, right?
What if we need to put like something on the desk, like a partition or something, so they're not looking at each other?
I was thinking about flipping the desk up where they
Flip
can't
the
see
desk
each other.
up to block their line of sight between each other.
Yeah.
Who's doing this?
Like enter the gungeon or something.
Yep.
I feel like I had fun with that game for like exactly 3 minutes, and I was really over it.
Because you played all that Isaac.
Yeah, I guess. So who's flipping the table in here?
So we flip the table without getting hit by the sound waves.
I will give whoever flips it. It's going to require a strength athletics check to successfully get it up, and I'm going to give you advantage on the Constitution save as long as you don't step into one of the 4 center squares. Like you could flip it over backwards, or you could flip it over onto its side from one of these squares here. But in so doing, you're going to have to reach into the range of the bad stuff.
Do we have a cloth? We could like drape a cloth. We could put a rope into the wall and then put a cloth on top of the rope and block line of sight.
Do we have any? Do you have any? Like anything that would be classified as material? As
You got jackets?
no, like I need raw materials,
Define raw.
not processed.
Are ball bearings processed?
Yes. Plus, there's not enough. I don't know. I was thinking I had the fabricate spell.
I have a cloak. I can just drape the cloak over the rope. Or we
So-
can have Ekon's mage hand hold the cloak between them and block the line of sight.
Victor, your plan is effectively to make like a clothesline across the middle of the room and then drape something down it. Is that, am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Why
Yeah.
don't you just throw the cloak over their head? Right?
I mean, that's a simpler approach, yeah.
Which one are you
Yeah,
doing this to?
you're over engineering this.
Let's just like both like and I'll take like a I don't know like a shirt or something out of my pack because I've got spare clothes in there for everybody.
Okay.
And I'll be like and I'll 3, 2, 1 and we just both of them at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will give you both advantage on this Constitution saving throw.
Oh, we have to get close? We can't throw it from a distance? Ekon, can we just use your hand and drape it over their heads?
Is it under 20 pounds?
The shirt and the cloak.
Cloak is under
Sure.
20 pounds, yeah.
Then yeah, I can, because that doesn't require any components. It's psionic.
Okay. So you're going to have Ekon take a cloak over to one woman, then take Genie's cloak over to the other?
Yep. We're just gonna like treat them like parrots.
How many hit points does Edmont have?
70.
Oh, you got a full heal?
No, he got a heal spell, which is
Oh, okay.
however which is a fixed 70.
Gotcha. So yeah, you mage hands over the two creatures, and after a moment, the desk in the center of the room stops vibrating. However, you are still engulfed in silence.
Genie steps on the desk.
Okay? You are now stepping on the desk.
She shrugs.
I think she's going to step closer and investigate the desk.
Victor, give me an investigation check.
28.
The desk has no obvious drawers or openings, but looking up underneath, you do find a compartment set into the bottom side of the desk. And after you fidget with it for a few moments, you think if you rotate this middle portion out of the way, it will come loose into your hand. You can feel it give a little bit as you push up into it, and you can feel something weighty on the other side.
He's gonna try and. Okay, so can we move the desk out of the room?
You probably could drag it out, yeah.
Okay, let's drag the desk out of the room.
Edmont hooks a claw into the desk and starts dragging it out.
Edmont spins it over his head like a pizza. So you drag the desk out of the room, and it's bizarre because it doesn't make any sound until you get it past the plane of this door. Then it's scraping across the floor as normal.
All right, now he's gonna take the thing out of the secret apartment.
Okay. So yeah, you depress the upside or the bottom side of the little desk, give it a turn, and when you pull it down, you realize you're looking at this fairly gaudy, like overly ornate and very heavy music box.
Can I see it?
Yeah, here you go.
Jeannie, you were
Jeannie
holding it.
Opens it. Oh well, it's got a crank on the side, I assume, right?
It does. But you also would have to open it as well. Like,
Yeah, she makes sure it's cranked,
okay.
and then she opens it.
You open it, and inside, again, the
Another banshee will. We all fall down to 0.
you're all dead. The design of this thing is overly complex. There's too many details. It's overly engineered and overly ornate, but it's got some machining done. When you open it up, you get this leafless tree at the center, and you're looking for what component is going to begin to move as music boxes do. And what happens is one of the upper parts of the tree, one of the top branches, unfolds, revealing a dead man hanging from a noose, swaying back and forth on time with very macabre music. Give me a wisdom check.
Oh, see, this is what I was hoping to save my blips for. It's an 8.
An 8.
If that, I will use my last 2 blips if that is a fail.
That's a fail.
Okay. It's a 9.
You can get like guidance or anything.
Not on a wisdom check. It's a skill. Well, it's ability checks, isn't it?
You can take guidance on an ability check, yeah.
Okay. That brings it up to a 10.
Okay. The music box is made out of cheap materials, probably not worth anything. However, with a successful charisma performance check, you could accurately recreate the song by humming or whistling.
Okay.
And for some reason, this seems very important.
All right. I pocket the box.
Okay.
Like, do I hear music? Do I hear silence? Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's, even if she doesn't get the feeling, I think it's not outside the realm of possibility to consider this more than likely her key.
Well, you passed the second check, so you understand why it's important.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The music box itself is not important, but with a successful performance check,
but the
you can-
song is.
Right, the song. Right.
Wait, is the song the action she has to take along with the key then?
The song is the key.
Oh, okay.
Like how your complaint is the key.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like apparently some kind of macabre.
Yep.
I
get it now.
Is it like a funeral dirge or whatever? Is the song macabre or just the music box?
It's nothing that you've recognized musically, but it has a macabre sound to it.
Okay.
It doesn't conform to
Myself-
any dirge you've personally heard.
It's myself, Ekon, and Jeannie, leaving Victor Beldross
Wait, what?
and Orson.
No, Victor has this.
Victor, we're happy about the mask.
Oh yeah, that's right. Victor
Well,
was
right
the
now,
mask.
my
That's
understanding is he's
Orson.
wearing sad side out at the moment. So he's sad about the mask.
Yeah.
Right.
But, was there any indication of like, do I need to like recite some super corny line with a mask on, or just keep the mask on me?
As far as you
Oh,
know,
we-
it's just the mask itself.
Okay. So we still
I think
need
the two-
Orson and Beldross.
I think the two of you should take a walk in that
Yeah.
hallway and find one that to see if that speaks to you in some
Yeah, I
way.
think we should.
I'm
Grab
actually
Beldross as
moving everybody on. Wait, it's not on this map, is it?
It's not. Are we done with
It's
this
on
map?
the other map.
Okay.
I'm gonna have Beldross come with us for this.
Okay. God, this place is a fucking mess.
37.
Yeah, the hallway is 37.
Go back out to the entrance of the hallway.
Sure.
As you approach the hallway, you see Beldross sitting there with his back to you. I need to get the correct page here. That is not the correct page. What have I done? I've ruined everything.
Good job.
I apologize once again for ruining absolutely everything. As you approach, you're a little perturbed to see him there, because last you saw him, you had left him in lion form in the room. As he stands, he sheds his lion form into the form of the angel with the broken wings. And he turns, and he's holding his arm in front of him, as though wielding a sword you cannot see. And he addresses Ekon. Says, "You must end it."
Does he seem more lucid than he has been previously when he's in his
Perhaps slightly.
angelic form?
He also seems to be particularly aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can't keep keeping him against his will if he's asking you to end it.
Ekon will step forward,
Okay.
holding his staff. He will cast Dispel Evil and Good, and Dispelling Evil, and touching Beldross with the staff.
Okay. What's the goal? What are you hoping to accomplish with this?
Either destroy him or banish him. I mean, this spell, by the rules, would typically banish him back to his home plane.
Okay.
But given that, now that we're out of maybe it'll actually work. Maybe he will go back to Air's Heaven, and someone can deal with him there. I don't know.
Bear with me one moment.
Yep.
Oh, damn, you could just use this to send undead or fey away from you, too. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've been keeping it in my back pocket.
Good old dispel stuff.
Yeah.
But that's your goal. You're using the dismissal version of this, right?
Yep. I cast it, and then I touch him. Or I think it's just an action. Yep.
As you do, 3 changes are undertaken in the creature's visage. For one, his broken wings behind him mend into great snow-colored plumage. For 2, the invisible sword that he is pretending like he's weaving around materializes in his hand. A great sword the size of which you've probably never seen, at least not effectively wielded. Maybe some backwoods village in South Warren made one of these and like, oh, come see the world's largest sword kind of situation. The third is that his flesh becomes the most vivid and illuminated that you've ever seen it. This extremely bright emerald color. He stands to his feet, holds his sword out in front of him, places it tipped down onto the ground, leaning into it, and he's breathing very, very heavily. You've banished or dismissed something that was weighing upon him, but the creature himself still stands before you. When he opens his eyes, he has neither pupils nor irises, just a pool of illumination, 2 pools of illumination in his head. He says,
that
I
end
perhaps...
the possession?
You no longer have control over him, if that's what
Okay.
you're asking.
No, I'm asking. I know I'm asking him if that worked, basically. If that.
He tells you he might only have this one moment. He kneels down in front of Ekon and tells you that he wishes to make reparations for an eternity of mistakes that have led him to lose his body and mind. Before he loses himself again, he asks you to bring his immortal life to a close. And then he bares his neck in front of you.
Just don't have anything that's gonna one-shot a Planetar.
At least you don't have to fight him.
Yeah. I mean, Ekon will nod and speak a prayer to air, and then place his hand on his neck and cast a point-blank Searing Ray.
Wow. This doesn't do fire damage, does it?
It does.
Oh, you're not
I
in
don't have
Darkon
anything
anymore.
that doesn't deal fire or radiant damage.
Well, I'm keeping track, because anytime Ekon tries to cast fire damage in Darkon, Victor has to use his reaction to stop him.
Oh,
Well, you said he didn't have to do that anymore.
You said
Not
you didn't
anymore.
have to do
No.
that.
yeah.
But every time he did, it's like, no, this spell that's called the Fires of Firetown actually deals radiant damage.
Yeah, there's a couple of those.
The fires of Firetown.
It's the best
It's
spell.
everybody's favorite fire spell. So your intent is to use this Searing Smite to kill this creature?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping that if he's, like not actually actively fighting and resisting, it's like, I can hit a vital point with it or something.
Now, the question is, what is in Ekon's heart when he does this? Is this an act of mercy?
Mercy and also pragmatism, because he doesn't want Bedros to lose control again.
I mean, yeah, he lets out this terrible groan as the wound in his neck, and he falls forward. His sword clatters to the ground, and he moves no more. His sword crumbles to dust, but the rest of him does not. The proper funerary rites at this point would be to burn the body.
Yeah, I know. We're popping off a flaming sphere and doing just that.
All right.
And Ekon is gonna, as the sphere burns, Ekon is gonna sit here and sit silently in prayer for a few minutes.
Victor is just standing there, open jawed, with a basket.
Is
in his hand.
this is this carpeted?
Yes. So the carpet's
Like the
pretty
rest
much
of
ruined at this point. So this fulfills Chris's adventure request, which was to bring death to an immortal creature. And yeah, as you step into the hallway, you recognize each of the 5 portals opening up.
Let's get Orson through first, because his is the one we're least sure about.
Okay.
I thought we should do 3, 2, 1 jump.
I mean, let's identify
I don't
Orson's
think
portal.
I don't think it would matter at this point.
The only check I need is from Jeannie. I need Jeannie to make a charisma performance check, or her portal does not open.
I can enhance ability that
Okay.
if we know that that's coming.
Yep.
And guidance. Those are both concentration, so guidance yourself.
I'll guidance myself. Yeah. All right. That is performance. That is a. What was the DC?
DC's only 12. Only 12.
That's an 11.
11's not going to do it. That's a lower.
I have
So,
2 blips left.
No, I don't.
Wait, can I spend blips for? I can spend blips for her to succeed, right? It's just more
You
expensive.
can spend 6 blips for an auto success for another
Yes, I'll
character.
spend 6 blips for Genie to auto succeed that roll.
All right.
Okay, and then we'll 3, 2, 1 jump. See everybody on the other side.
Maybe.
Are we actually doing this? Because Edmont would have insisted that. I have no idea how this works, but I think our best option is to keep a very clear image in our heads of our home in South Warren.
Is that what
I'm
you do?
me.
Something to anchor all of us together. If that's
Uh,
indeed how it works.
Jeannie hesitates for a moment, and she hands Victor her bag of holding and says that if for some reason I don't show up on the other side, please make sure I get a nice funeral.
So the last thing I need is for Ekon to speak a bitter complaint spoken with indignation.
And then after Edmont says what his piece, he would turn back into his human form, and then light the cigar.
So what does Ekon have to complain about?
Air's shadow Darkon is a terrible place.
That's a pretty bitter complaint. All right, now I get to go to my favorite website, immigrant.com.
They all appear in the perfectly round.
I don't have that map anymore. I don't know where it is. I can't find it again.
Recreated from a screenshot from the YouTube clip.
Yeah, right. You all find yourself unmistakably along the southern shore of Lake Lothril, which is the lake that surrounds the city of Brennanine. Off in the distance, you can see the city itself. It is a bright, clear day. Beautiful blue skies and clouds. But the place where you're standing is unmistakably a huge war camp. There were thousands of soldiers stationed here very recently. It looks as though you're in the last stages of the camp being broken down. Most of the men have by now dispersed. You see a lot of traffic on boats going back and forth to the city. At some point, there was a tunnel connecting the city itself to the land, to the outlying lands. Looking in that direction, you see a great amount of rubble and what looks to be a newly formed river, or the changing course of the existing river, flowing outward from the direction of the lake that is very unnerving to you. Looking at the skyline of the city itself, you can see where it's suffered some great amount of devastation. However, the men who were left here breaking down this camp, led by a man named General Emeth of the New Republic Army, generally seem to be in high spirits.
Ekon will flag down the first person who looks like they're even nominally in charge and ask them what the date is.
And the date they give you roughly corresponds with the correct amount of time that you feel you spent in Darkon, which I think is about like 2 or 3 years and change thereabouts.
A little over 3, I think, in my notes.
Yeah.
I'll ask him who leads the can you direct us to the command?
Yeah. What colors do you fly?
Well, I mean, we don't want to like.
These are men of the New Republic Army.
Right. Like, where's the commander? Or like, who's the commander of this camp?
How do you identify yourselves? Let's start there. Because that's their first question: is who's asking?
Aethar Ekon of Air.
Jeannie will give her full name and title.
At the mention of the name Veritas, the soldier that you flagged down, who's just taking down one of the canvas tents, stands at rigid attention. Says, "Of course, you must follow me. I will take you to the general directly."
Where's Nigel?
He tells you that Nigel is currently, last he heard, was heading back to the New Republic capital at Old Throne.
Good, Nigel's alive. And Ruby?
Same. He and Ruby, you learned very quickly, were both instrumental, both in developing and recouping losses from the Holy Republic. They were both instrumental in setting up the government of the New Republic and then pushing back against the Endeline over the course of the past 3 years.
Ekon, do you have any spell slots left?
I have a lot of spell slots left, but they mostly blow things up.
You don't have sending prepared?
No, I do not have a sending today.
Okay, we could do that tomorrow.
So the man that you meet with is General Emeth. He's an old man, and he's more or less identified as a commoner. This is a man that did not have any station, colors, or family before the war, but had distinguished himself fighting alongside a group of ragtag heroes that rose up against the Endeline shortly after you all were spirited away by mist.
Yep. And something about 108 people.
Well, all Emeth does, first of all, you all have been missing since the beginning. You all have been thought dead. Last they heard, you went across, you were exiting Brennanine on Abernathy's vessel, and that's the last anybody saw of you.
We'll tell, like, if he wants to hear the story, we'll tell him. I
mean, you tell him all about Darkon and everything?
Yeah, we've sailed through, like, we sailed into a land of darkness, through mists, and
we trapped there for 3 years. Magic didn't seem to really work.
And not all of us made it out. Eugenia looks at the floor.
Yeah, like a lot of you guys are still trapped there. Trieste and Abernathy.
Tenny,
yep. And Edmont's little baby. And some various retainers and other hangers-on. The word is that the war is almost over. The last campaign was in Nornir, where the Endeline Church was attempting to rebuild the lighthouse they had originally taken down. As far as you know, the heroes of this war had gone in that direction. And there's a lot of talk. Because indeed, part of this story that is beginning to form the foundation of the New Republic mythology and religion is that 107 stars had come together. And then the 108th came through was a fucking nightmare. They described this guy with a scar across his face, with a rigid straight back, came out of absolutely nowhere, wearing a bearskin that looked like he had torn off of the woods himself, draped in nothing else. They described to you in great detail the reverence they have for a man you know to be Duke Darkwood.
Jeannie busts out laughing.
Where did he go?
She laughs and she laughs and she laughs.
Where is this Darkwood?
As far as you know, he went with the last group of, now that the war is all but won here in the north, down to Nornir, which was the capital of the province of Mendelin, which is where the lighthouse was torn down.
So this man you described, he came here to help win the war?
He walked out of the woods wearing a bearskin, insisting he was going to win the war for them.
Told you so. And Victor
right.
just laughs.
Do you have a place we could sleep?
There's a lot of the pavilions are still up. The general gives you use of his pavilion for now, if you so choose. Do you want him to send message to Old Throne?
We'll get message there faster if we can just get a rest.
And yeah, he makes sure that you have anything you need.
Okay, I guess we'll take a long rest. Probably the first one we've had in 3 years where we didn't have the sense that the land was trying to murder us in our sleep.
So when I designed this maze dungeon, it was with the understanding of, like, I didn't conceive that you guys would do absolutely everything in the dungeon without taking any rests at all. So I made sure there were several rooms that were just pleasant experiences to rest in, one of which was just beachfront property. All you got to do is kick back. That was the only point of that room, was to have a nice...
That's fucking funny. I hate that so much.
Over the coming weeks, word of victory arrives from the south within the next week or so. The final battle fought here at Brennanine involved an Endeline sorcerer who insisted he was the High Aethar, causing the lake to rise up and crash into the eastern side of the city. But they were defeated here and pushed back. The High Aethar was thrown down in what was probably a thrilling boss fight that you guys didn't get to witness.
That took like 3 or 4 parties.
Right, there were 3... When word comes back that they've finally been pushed out of Nornir as well, has been retaken, nobody knows what happened to the Duke. He vanished just as quickly as he arrived. All that comes back of him are songs of his insane exploits.
I think I owe that man a drink.
The New Republic, the capital is set in the city of Old Throne, which is over here on the other half of the map. So if you had actually played the Suikoden campaign, they would have chased your ass all across the map until you were trapped on this little island and had nowhere left to retreat to, and had to make your final heroic stand there.
I mean, that doesn't sound worse than what we just went through.
For any viewers that came in late, see, I pitched this game as being based on the Suikoden games, and then took him to Ravenloft instead, just because it was funnier.
Yeah.
None of us have forgiven him for that.
It was a funny prank.
I do have my sending to Ruby the next morning as soon as I'm awake. Exactly 25 words.
Okay.
Trapped in hell for 3 years. 5 returned. Genie, Victor, Orson, Edmont. Others still lost. Can join war or return. We're all made of meat.
Also include that we're terribly sorry for how we
That's
treated
exactly 25.
That was it. 20. Well, 20 plus the meat thing, which does seem important. No, over the course of the next few weeks, the roads have been made safe between the two lakes. Things are being back underway. These heroes that rose up actually had to go one by one and liberate each of the provinces individually on its own little grand adventure. Probably involving vampires and giant stone statues that blow smoke rings and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
They met a guy who doesn't do anything but change the window color. It was weird.
Yeah.
Ruby and Nigel were both instrumental in the early days of the New Republic, and now enjoy places of high station amongst the newly formed government. Which basically the idea is we're going to rebuild the Republic from the ground up, but we're going to get it right this time. That seems to be the sentiment among the people. This was a time in history where the common man rose up within the Holy Republic to prove his worth, while the nobility mostly faded from view.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Was Ekon able to restore my hand?
Yeah, that's fine. Or you can build a new hand if you want.
I mean, I could do either or.
Would you rather have a mechanical hand?
I guess Genie builds a mechanical hand.
Genie just never gets her blood back. And Edmont's specific goal was to start a new tribe of Keltostravi here.
Yeah, no, I'm picturing one of these little forest tiles. That's Keltostravi land.
Okay.
So there's there's a village that they just have the South Warren look, right? And it's just, but instead of fishmen, they're wolfmen.
So when we do the Suikoden 2 campaign, you guys are going to have to fight Edmont and all his werewolf pals who are causing trouble.
Makes sense.
If the rabbits don't get them first.
Oh, that's right. You guys have to. Do you think you can take out the rabbits?
Oh, absolutely.
So so that's Edmont's epilogue. He successfully sets up his Keltostravi village. So you break ties with the family, go off into the wilderness. Is that what I'm hearing?
There is probably a few months after everything settles down, Edmont disappears, and he returns under the name Styx, and he's carrying a heart.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't
That's
get
very
it.
scary.
He's honoring the same deal that the Keltostravi made back in Ravenloft.
Oh
Treble might not remember where the name Styx comes from.
no, I don't.
It's the name that's burned onto his arm.
Oh, okay.
Styx was the name of the night hag that built Azalin's contraption, the Rift Spanner.
Okay.
That turned out to be just a MacGuffin. That turned out to be
Yeah.
a red herring in this campaign. You guys went a totally different direction.
Yep.
That's the machine that Strahd wanted you guys to plug Darkwood into because he thought it'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
What is
Funny
Genie's
prank.
epilogue?
Jeannie had promised to speak to she made in exchange for a pair of pants, she made Darkwood promise to speak to her. So after she catches up with her father and her sister and explains that there are still people trapped, and she'll spend a few months, I suppose, helping while she waits for Darkwood to come back. Because
Well, to that end, a letter has been left for you with a magically enchanted seal of wax.
uh-huh.
Identifying it, it has a minor enchantment on it so that only Genie can open the letter, but it's in Darkwood's hand.
Okay.
It's a series of instructions describing a portal and the proper key to the portal in the desert land of Werowetz, far to the south. This is apparently where he went after winning the war for you. And the final line just says, "Welcome to Sigil."
Yep. So Jeannie's going to probably spend, I don't know, a few months transcribing all of her notes for the Artificer guilds.
Okay.
The balloon, because she figured out balloons, various explosives, how
Now,
to make.
a man already arrived at Old Throne to build them an Up-a-Majigger. They have one.
It's
You
just
have an
it's
Up-a-Majigger
it's the
too?
same exact man, just with a mustache and a different name.
Right.
But like the assembly line she describes, like she like all these notes and stuff, she hands them to her sister and then tells her that she's going to get the rest of our family back, and then she heads she just disappears one night and heads down to Sigil.
And she's gone.
Like she's gone. She's going to.
She's left
assist
instruction on what should be done with her body in that case.
Right, she did. She basically asked it to be interred, and until she gets back, she's dead.
Okay.
But she is going to basically hook up with Darkwood because he very specifically said he wanted to crack open the mists.
Yep.
And she is going to assist him with that.
That kind of ties into what Victor's doing.
What is Victor's epilogue?
So Victor promised Darkwood that if Darkwood took back Brennanine, Victor would go help Darkwood take back his kingdom.
Okay, in that case, there's a letter for Victor as well, with the same instructions. Actually, he probably wouldn't trust you with the instructions. He probably just said get with Jeannie. She'll figure it out.
Yeah, so I guess Jeannie and Victor, they pack up and just leave.
Victor, do you tell anybody where you're going or why, or you just walk off?
He just walks off.
Okay. What is Ekon's epilogue?
So Ekon is going to give the two of them a gem enchanted with Word of Recall that they can use to summon him if they ever need him, or they can use to return to a shrine on Old Throne that he sanctifies.
Okay.
And after that, Ekon is going to go down to Nornir, and Ekon is going to commission and build a massive lighthouse and then set out on a exploration across the sea
Okay.
from that lighthouse in the name of air.
And he's could try to sail his ass into Flumph 6. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, Ekon doesn't know. What I remember about the world is that we don't know much, physically about what's on the other side of the sea. So
You set sail. 5 weeks into your voyage, your ship is engulfed by mists. Here we go again.
I hate it.
but yeah, Ekon will finish the work that they were doing to build the lighthouse only correctly, and then commission a massive ship and head out on an adventure.
So Orson,
He'll uphold the family tradition of being an adventurer.
so it sounds like Orson's the only one who's interested in staying behind and helping Ruby with her tasks building the New Republic.
Hey, Victor made a promise.
Jeannie we've got, listen, Ohana means family, and nobody gets left behind.
And then you immediately abandon your family.
And then you left them behind. Yes, exactly.
I mean, we've got people that,
If you crush the ruby under your left foot, I'll appear. If you crush the ruby under your right foot, you'll be summoned back to my temple.
I mean, Jeannie she leaves instructions what to do with her her whole body.
Yeah.
And
I kind
she,
of would have done that. He'll build a massive temple and properly consecrate it and defend it from all sorts of, magical wards.
I feel like there's so Jeannie is totally given up on the body thing. I feel like Ekon hasn't, and he's like, yep, it'll be here.
Ekon also is those crypts also have honorary places for everyone who came with us who died along the way or who didn't come back. Like everyone who hasn't come back, Ekon has set aside a headstone or a cul-de-sac inside those crypts he builds for. Lots of stone shapes.
Even Denny?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, that's what Jeannie's epilogue is. She's going to probably spend the rest of her life in vain trying to get the everybody else out of. She's probably going to spend at least many good years trying to get them out. I don't know if she ever succeeds. That's kind of outside the scope of what happens here. But...
In the canon and metaflot of Ravenloft, I'm not aware of anybody ever trying and succeeding on purpose to get into the demiplane of dread. But I think if there's any man who can do it, it's Duke Darkwood. So if I don't know when I'll ever run another Ravenloft campaign again, but when I do, you can bet there's going to be just an old ass crazy druid lady with terrible abandonment issues. And that brings us to the end of Ravenflumph. You will have returned home more or less safely, but you rather think a part of you has already been left behind. Every fourth heartbeat belongs to Darkhan.
Every fourth heartbeat belongs to Darkwood.
I mean, that's on you.
I mean, so the next time, when they release the next, when they release that box set for Planescape and you do another Planescape campaign, Jeannie and Victor are just going to be like fucking goons for Darkwood.
So it really depends, because there's kind of two ways you could go with Planescape. Because if I go that route, I have to pick up where we left the plot at the end of the Flunkscape campaign, right?
Yeah.
If I don't do that though, and I use whatever their new plot is, I don't know, that could go a lot of ways.
We'll be the Pinkertons.
Jeannie and Victor, their next job once they hook back up with Darkwood is to basically destroy Keelian.
Congratulations, you're takers by default.
That's fine.
I think Jeannie and Victor could freaking do it.
Take down Keelian?
Yeah.
Keelian has a lot of wealth and resources.
Jeannie has a lot of explosives.
Also, in that version of Sigil, you can't lock doors anymore.
Yeah.
Everything wants to be free. So, I make no more apologies for Ravenloft.
I enjoyed Ravenloft.
I feel it was sufficiently
It was fun.
horrifying.
Yeah, it was fun. Just never do that again, Brick Road.
I absolutely 110% appreciate the way that you sprung Ravenloft.
Just never do the bait and switch again, please.
I am still a little sad because I would have really liked to play though. I really enjoyed the Bernadine game.
The good news is I have tons of world building for this setting, so I can always just come back to this at some point.
I would like a Bernadine campaign, but I just really appreciate the way the Ravenloft was brought into existence.
In case anybody's wondering, final Dark Powers scores. This is an ability score, so the lower this score is, the worse you are at it. These were checks you had to make whenever you had to make a Dark Powers check, and failing this would have been bad. I don't think anybody failed too many of these. I think Edmont failed one.
Yeah.
So Edmont and Jeannie, your Dark Power score was 8.
Wow.
Ekon's was 11. And Victor's was 10. I started everybody at 10, and then I raised or lowered it based on things done over the course of the campaign.
I do, what... Name one thing that Jeannie did. No, I'm just this is can you think of something that Jeannie did to make you lower it twice, I guess?
Yeah, the terrible trauma response being harvested out of your original body and put into a homunculus.
Oh, okay.
That puts you a lot closer to the Dark Powers. I think Edmont just ended up there all on his own actions. leaning hard into the werewolf thing.
I'm guessing denying gaining a dark power was how Ekon got up to 11.
Yes.
So is that what Jeannie is? She's a homunculus?
Something like that. I don't know.
She's like a flesh golem or something?
Not literally, because there's a stat block for a flesh golem, and it's not Jeannie's stat block.
And your spells work on me, so.
So we're taking the next 2 weeks off. We're going to use that time to rest and heal. Now, how many sessions was this campaign, Treble? Do you know?
Yes, I do. This
You
is
just did a big
the-
breakdown of like down to the minute of which campaign was the longest.
This is episode 63, and I would have to. The longest one is still Planescape by like a wide
That
wide
went
margin.
almost to 90 sessions, I think.
That was by a wide margin. This one ended up in the same ballpark as Flumph Inc. And then Flumph of the Wild was a little longer.
And we introduced Ravenloft, I want to say, in like session 10 or 11. Something like that.
Something that sounds close. Yeah.
So yeah, the good news is y'all pulled one over on good old Aslan Rex.
Yeah.
Like I said,
sure
living
hopefully
well
lucky.
is the best thing. But like, that does make me a little sad that we left all the NPCs behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but
Again,
like,
that's why I gave you the ruby. Like, if you find a way to get them back, summon Ekon.
right.
Nobody gets out of Ravenloft clean.
I mean, as long as we get them out of Ravenloft, I don't care if it's clean or not. But Genie probably spends the next 10 or 15 years or longer in Sigil just trying to poke it, trying to like break into the mists.
Probably Victor and Jeannie are running errands in Sigil for Duke Darkwood, who's like refuses to step inside the city for very obvious reasons.
Right.
Probably.
Like, probably the portal he gave you goes to his long haul on Eastgard, and then he keeps sending you into Sigil to test the waters.
Right. I mean, but also like you said, Darkwood's probably the best choice if you're trying to break into the fucking mists. Probably the only man crazy / dumb enough to do it.
There's a lot of good resources
Yeah,
in those mists.
Victor's not going anywhere near those mists. You're on your own.
Ekon, I would guess Ekon also probably left Ruby, one of those rubies that has summon that allows her to summon him if she needs him.
And she accepts your gift of a ruby and sarcastically says, "Oh, thanks, Ekon. Very creative. Never got one of these before. Best birthday ever."
Again, don't put it under your left foot and step on it unless you want to come out to the end of nowhere.
So the deal with Duke Darkwood is that he was not up to anything. He was not going to double cross anybody. He wasn't going to backstab. He legitimately wanted his cleric levels back. Not cleric levels. Yeah, cleric levels.
Yeah.
He's a priest of Heimdall, which he lost by performing so many evil actions during the faction war. So, Darkwood was on the up and up the whole time. He did what he said he was going to do.
He was trustworthy.
Now, if he comes back for a future campaign, I would not. I don't know that I would trust him, but yeah, Darkwood was on the up and
Oh
up.
no, absolutely not.
And Aslan is now canonically trapped in Ravenloft forever, even though he has the perfect means of his own escape. He will never use it because of his own hubris. And you guys didn't bring the artwork back with you. You said you were, and you didn't.
I think that's probably for the best, to be honest.
Victor brought the picture of Evie.
Edmont spends the next 5 years trying to recreate that awesome werewolf painting you saw.
I mean,
In real life.
Yeah,
not
you-
on
Commissioned Jeannie's school to invent photography.
oh my.
Victor did bring back the picture of his girlfriend, though.
Fine.
Or wife, or whatever it was.
It is, graffitied with the Straw Hat Man.
Okay, so we're going to take 2 weeks off and then come back and play Spelljammer for a 12-week Spelljammer campaign in which one of our players is playing as a Snot Man. I think we have a Snot Man, a Monkey Man, a Hippo Man, a Robot Gnome, and then something else that I'm not remembering at the moment.
Still can't believe that that's actually a thing. Like, it's not going to register with me that the player who's playing the thing is like no.
He's just a little guy. He's just a little scrunkly man.
Is this the first official Spelljammer stuff that they've published since second?
2E,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels like they spent like over 20 years just embarrassed of the setting, and with good reason. It's real dumb.
Spelljammer is real popular. It's real popular. Although, like, the current Spelljammer is not anything like the second edition at all.
All right, is there any other debriefing we need to go through? Any other burning questions? I guess I will point out that my favorite adventure, both designing it and running it, was the Phantom Train. I enjoyed that tremendously.
Can't believe you wouldn't want to suplex a train.
It says in the stat block that she can't. Like, it was very clear.
Doesn't make it okay.
Just going for it and then failing was highlight of the.
Yeah, no, that was delightful.
I actually really liked the magic items you found there. Like, I'm never going to be able to place thematically appropriate magic items like that again.
I really do like that. Those magic items, those were really good. They kept their relevance pretty much throughout the rest of the campaign.
I think Gina used the earring like 3 times just in this final dungeon.
Twice, but yeah.
Edmont used it a lot. Edmont used his a lot, and I know Victor used his a lot too.
Yep. What was there anything that you had to drop? Like,
I know.
story-wise?
Oh, okay. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, just like you put seeds out there. Like, did you ever have? Was there ever a path for us to go to, whatever where Pladen was, and like rest and bring him back to the village?
I had thought about it because in the Van Richten's guide, hold on a second. What is the name of the place? Was it Falkovnia? It might have been.
I think it is Falkovnia.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
So Falkovnia is basically just zombie apocalypse land.
Yeah.
They're fighting this, and I was thinking like, okay, well, if we get to a point in the campaign, like as an adventure, if they really pursue this Pladen thing to the point where they're like banging down the walls about it, then yeah, we can have a good zombie thing there. The problem is that I never got really inspired to design like a zombie apocalypse adventure, and the
Fair
one
enough.
presented in the book, I don't think is that interesting. It's basically just guys run around the city, constantly rolling on these random encounter tables and never winning anything until you leave or all get killed. And then eventually we reached a point in the campaign where I'm like, is this more thematically appropriate that Pladen has just become obsessed with this war he can never win? Because that's exactly what happens to anybody who goes there. So he's just probably in the thrall of that Dark Lord for all the rest of time.
I kind of wanted to get everybody's feelings on the classes and stuff that they played. Like, how did you like the mechanics of it?
Cleric's pretty broken.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Like, you're
Yeah,
just
fine.
straight up light, right?
I did notice
That's
that
like-
you all decided to play the homebrew class that I made, which was nice.
Yes. Thank you for giving us a choice in that matter.
I thought that I think that the rogue class, despite having the most try-hard name of all time, Soul Knife, was really cool.
That's only.
Oh yeah, no.
I do enjoy
I
it.
like that class feature with the Noctis teleport is like the highlight of the class. It's just so cool and thematic.
I would play one again, but it seems like it'd be too soon.
Yeah. No, it's exactly right. Yeah.
Rogue is one of those classes where you could play. I think you could play it 3 times before you start kind of treading ground.
Well,
I
let's
mean,
see.
Rogue's been the most well-designed class in D&D since 3rd edition. Every time they do it the best.
Oh, because I'm populating Flumph 6. When we get to Flumph 6, like 20 weeks from now or whatever, a lot of the NPCs are going to be characters that I've played personally in 5e over the years. And I thought I played a lot of rogues, but I've only got 1 on this list. Because, you know what? The other one was that little rat bastard I played in Eberron, and I didn't like him. Like, I don't want to bring him back. I think it was a joke.
I don't like it's nice having a monk in there, and I don't understand why people consider it to be the weakest class.
Honestly,
all.
no, you're right, because it's got cloud control. It can trivialize a lot of mobility issues that you might have in a dungeon.
You know what? I think I figured it out. Actually, I think I have an answer to this, McDohl,
Go
because a lot of people a lot of people complain about the short rest mechanics because they're like, well, my DM never lets us have short rests, so you have less resources because you can get them on a short rest. You have compared to a
Yeah.
long rest
Yeah,
caster.
it's
And
like
I'm
the same
like
issue.
I'm like to myself, I'm like, but we take appropriate amounts of short rests. We're actually, if anything, we're stingier with the long rests.
I feel like this is the
Yeah, no, I think this last dungeon is very much proof of that. We do not like to take long rests if we can help it.
This is
Yeah.
McDohl's third monk just at the Flumph table, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you played Adric at
first
first.
was Adric, yeah.
And then
Yeah, I
Elsie.
think with the monks, a lot of it comes down to people just look at like straight damage, and it's like, well, fighters can do more damage than a monk, and then with the short rest stuff, because like arcane archers and warlocks have the same issue with short rests.
With 5th edition D&D, the biggest and most important thing you could possibly do is mitigate the DM's action economy in a straight like combat oriented kind of a situation. Yeah, no, it is the ability to deny the DM their action economy because
You know what the best status ailment to inflict is though?
dead.
It's dead. Yeah.
So on that front, let me get the book out here because that Dullahan boss that you guys fought was straight out of the Monsters of the Multiverse book they put out. And so what they've started to do is build that action economy directly into the monster. So like when you hit 0 hit points, it clears all conditions and then gets X amount of hit points back, like a phase change, and then it gets access to new attacks. So I'm wondering if they're going to publish more monsters along those lines.
Well, they've said that the upcoming edition is revision. They're calling it a revision now, but like it's going. The books are all going to be bigger, and then like they're talking about like the monster manual is going to be over 500 pages because they're going to print a whole bunch of monsters that have not made it in 5th edition or whatever. So yeah,
You know what? They did that with 2nd edition towards the end. And that 2nd edition Monstrous Manual is one of my favorite D&D books of all time. I love that book tremendously.
I
Yeah,
feel
going back to that. Oh, I was about to say, going back to that action economy. It's a two-way street because I will tell you, like the most afraid I was in this whole dungeon was in that fight with the Straw Hat Man, the Beholder, when he was like, "Oh, I'm about to deny like half your party is getting pooped on."
Yeah, that was a toned down Death Tyrant Beholder. Like he was supposed to get legendary actions, and he's supposed to have a like 150 foot whatever way he's facing. Anybody who drops to 0 hit points in that field automatically dies and gets raised as a zombie.
Ooh,
so
you know what? We fought the Death Tyrant in first Flumph.
Was it a Death Tyrant? It was some kind of Beholder.
It was a Beholder for sure. But anyway, Treble, I'm sorry to interrupt.
you were talking about like I don't think I'm gonna play Artificer again. I don't know. Artificer is cool thematically, but like mechanically, the way they have implemented it in 5th edition is not that fun for me.
I
like Artificer, but I feel like they should have given them some unique spells.
Yeah,
I thought they should have gone the other direction.
Spells are kind of meh.
Build a spellcasting class, but don't actually give it a spellcasting feature. Just rules to like build like magic items and things.
So
make more Batman and less whatever Alex and Jimmy were.
That's how it was in 3rd edition. So
yeah, that's
in 3rd edition, you had to make a magic item, it cost experience points.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
they had a reserve of EXP they gained each level to make magic items. They could break down traps and to add to that reserve. And then they had spells, but their spells, as a rule, required 1 minute to cast, even if the cast time was normally a little shorter than that.
Yeah, so that sounds
sit
better.
there and make a magic item to cast a spell.
I do thematically just like the idea of the class, and there will like Artificer will be on the table every time I run 5th edition.
Like mechanically, like I ended up slipping into a different. Like I wanted to be a damage dealer, and I think that particular one, on paper, looks like, oh yeah, I can be a damage class. I can be cantrip blaster like a warlock, and also have utility spells and this other thing, and have this cannon that's nope. The best choice is always the temporary hit points cannon. I negated probably
So much damage.
1,000 points of damage over the course of the campaign.
At low levels, there's really no way, and it's like a regular encounter, to push through that temp HP. You just can't do it.
Yeah, it's
you have-
heroism on absolute freaking steroids.
Like I design encounters. They give you directions like in the DMG, and I'm sure all the encounters that are like 2-3 times deadly early on, and that temp HP was like, well, don't even need to really roll initiative. We'll just. I mean,
Just delete the encounter.
Nath did that too, but he did it much later in the campaign. He had his incredible abjuration ward.
But like it's
Well, Ass joined that campaign at like 10th level, so
True.
that helped a lot.
the big issue I think is that the spell list that Artificer gets is it's full of not even the good utility spells, right?
Yeah.
It's got like it, I don't know. Like I think something like the something like Arcanums, right, would be good for Artificers. Something you could like you build a device that mimics a high level spell, and then like you have this list of spells like there's because there's neat like the neat utility spells don't start appearing until 4th and 5th level,
Mhm.
and by that point you're level 15.
I mean, Levitate and Web are both pretty good.
Web
I
and
think
Levitate
their
are good.
their first level spell casting is a little anemic.
I mean they get Fairy Fire, which is
Yeah.
Fairy Fire is really good. It's probably one of the best first level spells.
I would say Fairy Fire is the best concentration first level spell, and then Web is the best second level concentration spell.
Web has caused me a lot of issues. Just in general.
It's just like the spell list just doesn't feel great, especially since it's an arcane caster, and it's like ostensibly kind of in that same niche of wizard who like you went to school for this.
Yeah, they're the super wizard. They're supposed to be more prepared than the wizard. Like that's the wizard's the preparation-based class, is the super preparation-based class. And that's the other thing I don't love about it, is that you trade things out so easily that doesn't really come up. Like with infusions, they're just like, oh, change every one of your infusions every long rest.
Well, you can't do it on long rest. I mean, you can't change. Well, you can change out the ones you have infused,
Yeah, exactly.
but not
Yeah.
your list.
You can have active.
You are limited, but you have twice as many as you need. So.
I also don't like how Artificers are very backloaded, right? Like I mentioned this before in the chat where like because we were discussing, like I'm of the opinion kind of similar to Brickroad where you can't really just decide to multi-class into something like a sorcerer or a paladin or a even a warlock. There has to be an event that has happened to
Thematically.
Yeah, like you mentioned Brickroad in the past, like Vorpal's, like I get infused with dragon blood or something like that.
Yeah, he just drank dragon blood at our Saturday.
Transfusion.
But like for like Genie, I was like there was a time I was like when I was like 10th level or whatever, I was like, okay, we're probably gonna get 3 or 4 more levels by the end of the campaign. So I was thinking about requesting the ability, if you would let me, multi-class into Clockwork Soul, because Genie
which is what, a sorcerer?
Yeah, it's a sorcerer, but it's like she has a constructed body. So I was thinking maybe that's thematically correct. That or Shadow, since again, like closer to, whatever. Like it was something.
Ravenloft,
yeah,
Ravenloft in general.
But like the idea is that her constitution has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Her physical constitution has changed, and that in my brain, that's the only time it is.
I mean, I wouldn't have restricted any multi-class that you wanted to be. Like that's not. I wasn't going to put any restriction on that. But yeah, that would have been fine. I just don't think multi-classing is very good in 5e.
No.
It can be, but like it really only shines when you're playing something like you start at 5th, 6th, 7th level, and you don't have to play.
You don't have to play a few
those-
levels behind the
Like
rest of the
really gimped class.
Yeah.
Even 5th is pretty painful. 6th, I think, is when it starts to get good.
Can you imagine if the
Then
DM...
you can have your
Uh,
effectively
two-
your path from both,
You
or
got
you can have an
two. Yeah,
ability
you
score
got two
increase,
subclasses in there.
and then
Yeah.
like the level 1 or 2 features.
Could you imagine if your DM was like, everybody has to multi-class with this bullshit homebrew?
You know what we missed out on? Because I got to level 15. We missed out on the final class feature for my artillery cannons, which is called fortified positions.
Can't you like have like 2 of them out or something like that?
I could have 2 of them out, and anybody within 10 feet of them has half cover.
So Orson would have been even more impossible to hit.
Yeah.
Do you activate them both with the same bonus action?
Yes.
That's really
Yeah.
nice.
So any other...
There's
Pretty
your blaster.
bonkers.
Though also, why not just have 2 flamethrowers at that point?
The flamethrower never worked.
You burned the hell out of that tree.
I was gonna say, except for the tree, the flamethrower didn't work a single freaking time.
The good old Whomping Willow there. Any other final notes before we sign off
A
for our
Whomping
final
Willow
time?
with the Bodak inside.
Exactly. The Bodak that spawned back in 3 times.
I'm trying to think if there's any questions, like, story-wise that I have.
So what did Aslan do with the names of all the Vistani that he got?
I probably went on a campaign to eradicate Vistani within his border.
Oh, that's probably
but he
where
was-
that art came from.
But were the Vistani smart enough to give Victor their real names?
They probably all fled over the border. Because, yeah, keep in mind, a lot of the Vistani work for Count Strahd anyway.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but like the way I view that is like he was gonna do that anyway, right? He just
Oh, no, nothing that Aslan, none of his evil shenanigans are on your head. Like, he was going to be evil no matter what you did.
was there a path where we were gonna have to like creep through Castle Avernus before we ended up in that crypt?
I was going to place that dungeon in whatever location you travel to. If you had decided to travel to Castle Avernus and forget about the phylactery, you would have ended up in that same crypt regardless.
Yeah, well,
Like
I
the-
assume so.
Yeah, you weren't going to get out of the dungeon.
But-
The difference is if Ekon had decided to summon a phoenix instead of Beldross, you would have met up with that skin changer in the dungeon, and he would have been like the immortal creature begging for death. You would have had to put an end to him instead.
What was the deal
Ekon
with
still
the-
has an egg.
Well, there's an egg in a magic circle back in the village.
No,
what
you
a-
took it with you.
Did I?
I thought, yeah.
Is it in the bag?
I thought you did too.
Oh well, there's
There's
your
a video.
lantern at the top of the new lighthouse Ekon constructs. Then
There you go.
What was the deal with the Raven people?
So where ravens in Ravenloft are a good aligned kind of spy network, I think they're called the Order of the Feather. And the idea is that they seek out good aligned characters in order to kind of bring them in to their like pool of resources. They never engage evil directly, and they're not fighters, they're not warriors, and if you alienate them, they're just done with you. Like, as if you give them any indication, like, you're not worth spending time on. So Victor gave them that indication very quickly. And then much later on, Tenny made contact with them. So I imagine Tenny spends the next few years becoming more integrated in that order.
With her little cousin, half whatever the heck she is.
Yeah, what's the deal with Elena?
Oh no, yeah, she's gonna grow up and be a terrible fey creature. It's gonna feast on men's souls, etc.
Oh shit! Well, fuck.
Stealing babies from cribs, all the good stuff. Baking them in
Damn it!
pies.
I
But
tried to be a good person.
But Tenny's like, Tenny's
that ain't it,
Tenny's
Chief.
gonna love her anyway.
Like, canonically, even if Darkwood and you guys break back into the mists and like rescue Trieste and like Tenny's not gonna be there. Like, she's done with all of you. Forsake her name and go off and be a crazy bird lady in Darkon forever.
Yeah,
Does
that's
Lugren
not something
ever
to laugh about.
Does Lucrin make it?
does Lugren ever achieve his dream of becoming the best drinker in Darkon.
Lugrin dies of old age at 84 in his sleep, having lived a long and fulfilling and peaceful life where nobody ever bothered him again.
Good.
And then he's
Good.
immediately reincarnated to suffer as a peasant somewhere else in Darkon because that's how the mists work.
More or less, yeah.
What happens to our village after we leave? Does Abernathy run things now?
By the time they get back, it'll be taken over by Luke Guru.
Oh.
Do the Luke-Guru ever find a
Oh.
woman?
I imagine they fight a
that
war
art.
with...
Man, that fucking art, though.
They probably fought a war with the knights that were left behind, the Silverbow Knights, who would have been unmanned compared. Because the Luke Guru, once they learned that, hey, these Silverbow guys, like, they took off, like, they're going to come back. Like, it's just how it goes in Ravenloft. You know, move your
Yeah.
meat, lose your seat.
Does the what was wrong with not Trieste, but
Donique?
Donique? Yeah.
Oh, she was just had this soul, the same like soul catatonia that some of the people in Barovia have. Just a sort of where she just failed too many horror checks too quickly.
Okay.
Realistically, there is no cure for it,
Okay.
short of
say,
divine intervention or a wish spell.
yeah, which we didn't. Have
We
that.
had a wish spell.
Didn't use it for that.
Right, but it's not gonna. He would not use it for that because that would like permanently stunt his capability of
magic
casting
forever,
spells. Like he said, he would cast the wish spell in pursuit of fighting Aslan.
Oh, Zach Whale, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. I guess
Well,
I
I
could use him
don't-
again in the future.
yeah. Crazy old man with a book that had what, meteor swarm or something in it.
He had some crazy spells. You gave him some like power word kill.
So
All right. Thank you guys so much for playing Ravenloft and indulging me.
Thank you for running.
I have been wanting to do a Ravenloft bait and switch since I was like 12 years old.
It was
Fair.
amazing.
Never had the balls to do it before now.
Just please never do it again.
I mean,
that's something you can get away with.
At least to
once.
me.
McDohl, I can
Never
tell
do it
you
again.
that I'm never gonna. But would you believe me though? Like, how can you
No,
ever trust me
absolutely not.
again?
I would just ask you, please don't do it.
Which is why no DM should ever do that. Like bait and switch bad because now
I can tell you how you'll know if he's going to do it. Is in like the first or second adventure, like characters were deferring to me, a second level adventurer, as if I was an authority. There's no way that's going to last. If things are too good to be true, you're probably in a bait and switch, and you haven't hit the switch yet.
Spelljammer is coming right out of the book. It's going to be 12-week long, and then the next campaign is going to be pirates, and there's no bait and switch. It's going to be pirates all the way down.
Mhm.
I am going to do my research and watch the old Pirates of Darkwater cartoon is the plan to get myself.
Are you
Advanced
also
spaces.
going to watch all the pirate movies?
Watch that CCP Gray video where he talks about.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
the
that's-
juicy. Yeah, both of them. Both really good.
All right, so I'm going to push the button, and we can all go get dinner. Thanks for playing, guys. I'll see everybody in 2
Yep.
weeks when we start.
Yep.
Splatjammer.
Later, friends.
Yeah. I have to watch Cutthroat Island again.